Let's get you a special focus now on what's happening in Manipur's Turbong village.
Well, NDTV spent a day in one of the worst affected villages of the state that has been on the crossroads of violence.
Now, as locals take to weapons to protect their villages, it's a constant living among battles, as these are gun battles and bombs Parmeshwar.
Right, our colleagues Saurabh Gupta and GD Shankar bring you this ground report as they spent a night in this village.
Dusk in these parts of Manipur means gearing up for the night ahead. This calm will soon be disrupted. As the first gunshots are fired this evening, lights go off here. You heard those gunshots go off? They're still going off. And people living in these villages, in the border areas of the Imphal Valley and the hills in Manipur, have been leading very difficult lives in the past few months. Every night, they have to stay awake and defend their villages. You heard gunshots go off even now, and that has been the routine for villagers here in the last 2 months or so. As these gunshots go off, villagers are on alert. Every night is a night of alert because gunshots go off every night. There's no respite from the firing in these areas. Ladies taking shelter outside their homes, prepared.
ये जो गोली चल रहा है, ये हर रात ऐसे ही चलते हैं?
हर रात बस 3 तारीख से अभी तक यही सिचुएशन है अभी तक. अभी कोई कभी ज़्यादा भी आ जाता है. 2 दिन से पहले तो सारे बम गांव में कम से कम 50 बम तक गिरा था. 50 गम में 50 लगभग 50 है. इतना काउंट में गिनती तो किया ही नहीं है. बम का आवाज़ हमको पता ही नहीं चल रहा. सारे गांव इसी तरह हम लोग गुजरना पड़ता है.
हम भी डरते हैं तो क्या करें.
तो डरते हैं इसलिए ऐसे
बहुत डरते हैं. खत्म करने के लिए सरकार को कुछ तो करना चाहिए ना. तो जल्दी कीजिए. हम लोग बहुत डरते हैं. ऐसे देखिए ना आप लोगों को भी. हम लोग क्या करें. छोटा सा बच्चा भी है तो क्या करें. हम ऐसे रहते हैं रात को. दिन में तो थोड़ा, तो रात को तो देखिए ना आप लोगों भी ऐसे रहते हैं. तो बुरे भी है तो हम लोगों भी है. तो ऐसे 2 गोली की आवाज़ है तो बम भी है. तो हम लोग क्या करें. जाए तो कहाँ जाए.
All through the night as we move around, as gunshots continue, people we see are outside their homes, not in the safety of their homes, as they are afraid that gunshots could come this side anytime. It's midnight, gunfire is still on. From the sounds we've heard, it seems 51mm mortars, 7.62 LMG and assault rifles are being used. You can hear the gunshots still going off, which is why people are no longer staying in their homes. They are living elsewhere. These are of course what we presume to be LMG fire. आप ये बताइए हमको, थोड़ा नजदीक आइए. आप ये बताइए कि आप घर पे क्यों नहीं रह रहे हैं.
पहले शुरू का मतलब ये घटना जो है 3 तारीख को हुआ था. उस टाइम में तो फायरिंग चलते रहता है. उस टाइम बम नहीं आ रहा था.
अभी बम आ रहा है.
अभी बम आ रहा है इनका.
और तो आपका फैमिली कहाँ रह रहा है.
मेरा फैमिली जो है घर पे रह नहीं पा रहा है क्योंकि यहाँ पे इतना सेफ नहीं है. क्योंकि इनका बम से बहुत 1 किलोमीटर तक दूर आता है.
तो आप कहाँ रह रहे हैं अभी.
यहाँ पे मैंने ऐसे बंकर बनाया है साथ के नीचे. तो इसमें रहने से थोड़ा मतलब सेफ होने के लिए मैं ऐसे छुपा के रखा है फैमिली को. छोटा बच्चा भी है, 2 महीने का बच्चा भी है, तो इसमें मैंने रखा है.
Well, we've just gotten news that there have been some people who've been injured, or perhaps there are casualties also in the firing and the the heavy sort of firing that went on just a short while ago. We'll now be heading there. But the police say we should not go there as bombs are being dropped and people have been injured. We obey. This is the life of villages on the fringes of the Imphal Valley bordering the Manipur hills. How long will this situation last is the question. It's 4:30 in the morning and we've spent the entire night in this village. All through the night it was all about guns, bombs, gunfire and villagers protecting themselves. That's how life has been for them in the last 3 months or a little less than 3 months. Every night they've been staying up to protect themselves from what's been going on all night. And this is the story across villages on the periphery of the Imphal Valley. The evidence of the gunshots, the bombs we heard last night. Here is where one of the bombs landed. It came in through the roof, and then of course you can see this hole in the ground. That hole, that crater, is of course created by the bomb. And all these holes that you see in this wall is what has been created again by the explosion. And someone who was in that room there was injured by the shrapnel after the explosion. This is the impact of the gunfire, the bombs that Manipur is seeing every day. There is a cost to this. Human lives and just livelihoods and normal, peaceful living. That is what is perhaps missing in Manipur because of the gun battles, the bombs and other weapons being used in this conflict. With camera person G.D. Shankar in Manipur, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And also, a Manipur town bordering Myanmar has seen a fresh burst of violence with a transit camp of security forces being attacked by a mob, prompting an exchange of fire. A forest department building has also been set ablaze.
The violence has been reported in Tegnopal district's More town and comes after a period of relative peace for a few days. Now, in such a state, close to 50,000 people have been forced to leave the places they once called home. To give them a temporary accommodation, around 4,000 prefabricated houses are being constructed by workers under security cover.
Prefabricated houses have been built in the Thubal area. This is in the eastern part of Imphal and Bishnupur districts of Manipur, which have been the worst hit as far as those areas are concerned. They will be given to families whose houses have been totally damaged during the violence that's taken place for almost 3 months now, Parmeshwar.
Right, Divya, estimates show about 5,000 houses in the state have been fully or partially damaged as per government sources.
The target is to complete these houses before Independence Day. Switching tracks now, the ongoing Manipur violence has resulted in a no-confidence motion for the Modi government. The government will face a no-trust vote, and that's expected soon.
Right, Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi, backed by the India coalition parties, moved a no-confidence motion yesterday, which was accepted by the Lok Sabha Speaker, though the Speaker hasn't yet announced the date for the debate on the motion.
Now, while it's clear that the BJP government is safe as far as holding that majority in the Lok Sabha is concerned, the opposition's aim right now is to get the Prime Minister to make a statement on the violence in Manipur inside the Parliament.
ये सभा मंत्री परिषद में विश्वास का अभाव प्रकट करती है।
इस प्रस्ताव की अनुमति दी जाती है।
विश्वास प्रस्ताव के द्वारा हम ये प्रकाशित करना चाहते हैं कि प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी शायद मणिपुर को भूल चुके हैं, लेकिन इंडिया अलायंस ये देश मणिपुर को नहीं भूला है।
जो इस प्रस्ताव की अनुमति दिए जाने के पक्ष में
Government versus opposition battle lines intensify. After a showdown in parliament over the Manipur situation, the opposition has fired its strategic weapon, the no confidence motion. knowing fully well that the government has a huge majority. It's the opposition's move to force the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to speak on the Manipur issue inside Parliament that they've been demanding through this session.
अविश्वास प्रस्ताव लाने के मतलब ये नहीं कि किसी को हराना या जिताना, ये सरकार पे क्यों हमारा अविश्वास है ये आम लोगों को बताना जरूरी है, क्योंकि शुरू के दिन से हम एक ही छोटी सी मांग किए हैं और वो भी हमारे सदन के नेता, खासकर हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री से, कि आप सदन पे आए, बाहर जो बात रखते हैं आप मणिपुर के मुद्दे पे, सदन की बाहर क्यों रखने की जरूरत है, सदन के अंदर आके वही बात रखे, उसके बाद हम चर्चा शुरू करें।
इंडिया अलायंस आज मणिपुर के साथ खड़ा है। उनके दर्द के समय इंडिया अलायंस आज मणिपुर की हक की बात कर रहा है और आने वाले समय में इंडिया अलायंस मणिपुर पर लगे हुए घाव पर मरहम लगाने का काम करेगी।
The government is confident of not only defeating the motion but also getting more support.
तो नो कॉन्फिडेंस दिया है तो अब लोगों के कॉन्फिडेंस माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी के ऊपर, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ऊपर ही है और जो होगा हम अभी चर्चा करके हम डिसाइड करेंगे। लास्ट टर्म में भी किया था और लोग उनको जो कुछ भी सबक सिखाने था वो सिखा दिया है और आगे भी सिखा देंगे।
The no confidence motion is expected to be taken up early next week, but nevertheless it's going to be an opportunity for debate and discussion both for the opposition as well as the treasury branches ahead of the state and general elections. The government is comfortably placed in the House of 538 members. Currently, it has 332, while the India Alliance parties collectively have just 142. The rest 64 constitute non-aligned parties such as the BRS, BJD, YSRCP and the TDP. In election year, amid political posturing in the battle of perception, the BRS moved a separate no trust motion despite lacking the numbers to show that it was against the BJP but not with the Congress, which is its rival in Telangana that goes to the polls in a few months.
मेरी आवाज, मेरा गला घोंटने का भरपूर प्रयास किया गया।
As the no confidence motion was filed in the Lok Sabha, this video of the Prime Minister from 4 years ago predicting one in 2023 went viral.
इतनी तैयारी करो कि 2023 में फिर से आपको अविश्वास प्रस्ताव लाने का मौका मिले। अहंकार का परिणाम है 400 से 40 हो गए और सेवा भाव का परिणाम है कि 2 से यहां आकर के बैठ गए।
While the no confidence motion is more about perception as it doesn't pose any real threat to the government, but the acrimony in the House is not going to get over anytime soon as the Delhi Ordinance Bill is expected to be introduced in the Rajya Sabha coming Monday. And hence, the scenes that we have been seeing repeat itself over and over again for the last 1 week is just expected to go on with no end in sight. In New Delhi, Megha Prasad for NDTV.
Well, switching tracks, there will be no survey at the Gyanvapi Mosque till the Allahabad High Court comes to a decision on the matter. The court has asked the Archaeological Survey of India for more clarification, and the hearing will continue today as well.
Now, seeking a stay on the survey by the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, the Management Committee of Varanasi's Gyanvapi Mosque has told the court that it fears that the historic structure might fall.
This has prompted a sharp response from the court, which asked the petitioners how they will trust the court's ruling if they cannot trust the ASI's assurances that there will be no damage to the structure.
In other news, the police have filed charges against 3 college students in an alleged gang rape of a teenager in Rajasthan's Jodhpur.
The 3 men, who are from the state's Barmer, had come to Jodhpur to campaign for the student selection at their university. This is what the charge sheet said. But the police's 414-page detailed charge sheet came within 10 days of the horrific incident, Divya.
The phone location of the 3 accused as well as CCTV footage from the cameras in the area is what led to their arrest.
घटनाक्रम होने के बाद तुरंत मौके का निरीक्षण किया गया और त्वरित गति से मामले की गंभीरता को देखते हुए त्वरित एक टीम बना करके चारों आरोपियां की तुरंत दस्तयाबी की गई, बाद पूछताछ गिरफ्तार किया गया। उसके बाद जो भी हमारे अनुसंधान में साक्ष्य आ सकते थे तो एक एसआईटी का गठन भी हुआ और उस एसआईटी ने सभी साक्ष्यों को एकत्रित करते हुए, चाहे वो बायोलॉजिकल साक्ष्य हों, चाहे वो टेक्निकल एविडेंस हो, चाहे वो डिजिटल एविडेंस हो, चाहे वो सर्कमस्टांशियल एविडेंस हो, सभी एविडेंस का कलेक्शन करके और आज दिनांक 26 जुलाई 2023 को पॉक्सो न्यायालय में चार्जशीट दाखिल की गई है.
And with that, we're slipping into a very short break.
On the other side, we get you the latest on how the Sikkim government will now give 12 months maternity leave very soon. Welcome back. Sikkim Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang has said that his government will give 12-month maternity leave and 1-month paternity leave to its employees.
Now, he went on to say that changes will be made in the service rules in order to provide the benefit, and this benefit will help the government employees to take better care of their children and their families. The Himalayan state has the lowest population in India at about 6.32 lakh people.
Right, tourists that were trapped in a deep forest area, meanwhile in Telangana's Mulugu district, were rescued at 4 a.m. today.
Right, those people have managed to be rescued. At least 42 tourists had gone to enjoy that area which was in Mulugu, the waterfall area, the highest waterfalls in the state, and those people have now been in fact rescued. We have Uma Sudhi joining us on the phone line. Uma, given the situation, those tourists had in fact been trapped in the area. How long were they trapped and how long did it take for the rescue operations?
What we understand is that these people, these tourists had gone to see the water flow at the highest waterfalls area in Telangana, which is called Mutyaladhara in the Mulugu district. And the minister, in fact, Satyavati Rathod, has said that there were warnings given saying that people are not supposed to venture out into the area because you kind of come and stop in a particular place, then you have to trek through the forest and then reach the forest area. These people, because it is only less than knee deep yesterday in the morning and afternoon, they had managed to go out, but when they were coming back, they realized that the stream that's running through the forest was now over full and it was running at such speed that they could not come back, and that's how all these people got trapped there. And then the police teams came in there to try and rescue. They were not able to do much, and therefore the NDRF, which is stationed in nearby Etur Nagaram, they were called in, and then all-night operation happened to try and rescue these people because some of them still had their battery on their mobile phones on. That's how the police told them that please do not try and venture out by yourself. Do not try to cross the waters by yourself because it can be very dangerous and rescue will reach you. So they were waiting there, and then all through the night this operation happened with the SP of the police force of Mulugu also helping the NDRF, and then by 4 a.m. this operation was completed, while yesterday they had estimated that there could be about 42 people who were trapped in the area. This morning, the ASP has just told me that they have rescued about 85 people from that area, stranded in that area. Telangana's police chief, Anjani Kumar, is in fact issued an alert to all the police in all over the state and told people not to venture out unless it is a real emergency, and they do need to step out because all the water bodies across Telangana, in fact, last few days it's been raining incessantly, and they are expecting that today and tomorrow as well there are going to be heavy rains, and therefore embankments can break and you can have flash floods in any areas. Many places we are hearing about road breaches, and just now we got a very dramatic visual of highway number 163 in Mulugu district itself actually giving way, and there is the road has been broken off. That area has been cut off, and therefore people are being told to stay indoors. And Hyderabad is also being given a warning of heavy to very heavy rainfall in the next 2 days, and therefore IT companies have been told that earlier they were told to have kind of phased log out timings, but now they've been told that they must opt for the work from home option for all their employees. Schools and colleges have all been closed. The courts have also been going to be functioning only partially because of the kind of heavy downpour that we have seen in several areas of Hyderabad. In fact, all through the night has rained, and the worry is in fact in the rural areas where the water bodies may breach, and that could lead to flash floods. Back to you.
Right, thank you so much, Uma, for joining us with all those details. In other news, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated what is pegged as India's largest exhibition and convention centre, a global hub that has now been renamed in the national capital as Bharat Mandapam instead of the old Pragati Maidan complex.
Right, Divya. Interesting choice of name there. But the Prime Minister said this was symbolic of India's vision, even as he released 2 G20 stamps and 2 coins. He also made a big promise ahead of the big 2024 Lok Sabha elections.
दूसरे टर्म में आज भारत दुनिया की 5वीं सबसे बड़ी इकोनॉमी है। और ये ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड के आधार पर, बातों बातों में नहीं, ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड के आधार पर मैं कह रहा हूं, मैं देश को ये भी विश्वास दिलाऊंगा, तीसरे टर्म में दुनिया की पहली 3 इकोनॉमीज में एक नाम भारत का होगा। यानी तीसरे टर्म में पहली 3 इकोनॉमी में गर्व के साथ हिंदुस्तान खड़ा होगा। दोस्तों, नकारात्मक सोच वालों की कोई कमी तो है नहीं हमारे यहां। इस निर्माण को रोकने के लिए भी नकारात्मक सोच वालों ने क्या क्या कोशिशें नहीं की। खूब तूफान मचाया गया, अदालतों के चक्कर काटे गए, लेकिन जहां सत्य होता है वहां ईश्वर भी होता है। अब आपको याद होगा, जब कर्तव्य पथ बन रहा था तो न जाने क्या क्या कथाएं चल रही थी। फ्रंट पेज पर, ब्रेकिंग न्यूज में क्या कुछ चल रहा था। और मुझे विश्वास है कुछ समय बाद भारत मंडपम के लिए भी वो टोली खुल करके बोले या ना बोले, लेकिन भीतर से तो स्वीकार करेगी। और हो सकता है किसी एक समारोह में यहां आकर के लेक्चर देने भी आ जाएंगे।
With that, we're stepping into a very short break.
We'll be back with a whole lot more.
Welcome back. In Mumbai, most dabbawalas have seen business take a bad hit, especially after COVID, and work from home and opening up of canteens in schools has affected their earnings.
That's right, Parmeshwar. 130-year-old dabbawalas have been forced to work part-time in order to meet ends, and also the COVID and online delivery are their biggest challenges. This is a report sent by our colleague Sohit Mishra from Mumbai.
For the last 17 years, Nilesh Bache has been travelling from Borivali to Churchgate, delivering these tiffin boxes. When he started out, he had a group of 50 dabbawalas. Now that number is down to 30. Not just this, 1,500 customers have dropped to 700. This has impacted Nilesh's income, and now he is forced to do part-time jobs to make ends meet.
बोरोली में मेरा पिकअप एरिया है टिफिन का, वहाँ पे मैं पिकअप करके पूरा बोरोली से लेके चर्चगेट तक पहुँचाने का काम करता है। उसके बाद मैं 6 बजे बोरोली से निकलता हूँ, वापस 7 बजे थाना में पहुँचता हूँ। थाना में जाके मैं 7 बजे से 10 बजे तक पार्ट टाइम का ऑनलाइन एग्रीमेंट का काम करता हूँ।
Like Nilesh, most dabbawalas have seen business take a hit, especially after COVID. Work from home and opening up of canteens in schools has affected their earnings. Vishnu Kaldoke works as a delivery boy in a grocery store near his house after he finishes his round of dabba deliveries.
Working hours और मेहनत दोनों भी बढ़ गए, मगर अभी करना पड़ेगा ना हमें। अगर हमारे परिवार की परवरिश करनी है तो उसके लिए तो करना पड़ता है।
Dabbawalas have served Mumbai for close to 130 years, but now many are opting to return to their roots to farm for a living. Some have made it back to the city now, but times are still difficult.
2 बरस गांव में गया, उधर भाजी का शाक भाजी का धंधा चालू किया, रोड में भाजी बेचा। 2 बरस के बाद इधर अपना रूम था, इसके लिए वापस बम्बई में चालू हो गया, इसके लिए आया।
इनकम में फर्क पड़ा है?
हाँ पड़ा ना, इनकम में पड़ा ना,
फर्क पड़ा है।
Online delivery apps are the biggest challenge for dabbawalas face. Numbers have dwindled from 5,000 to 1,500. To meet the needs of changing times, dabbawalas are now organizing a central kitchen. A delivery app is also in the pipeline to keep this over a century-old profession alive.
हम लोगों ने एक सेंट्रल किचन का माध्यम स्टार्ट करने का सोच रहे, तो उसमें जो महिला घरेलू महिला जो घर पे बैठ के जो उनके घर वाले को जो खाना दे रहे थे उसी माध्यम से वो जिनको जरूरत है उनको देने की वो दे पाए।
हर मुंबईकर आज भी हम जैसे वॉचमैन से लेकर सीईओ तक उनको हर किसी को हमारा डब्बे का पेमेंट फॉरवर्डेबल है, उसी प्रकार से वो ऐप इस प्रकार से होगा कि हर मुंबईकर उसको benefit ले सके।
Being an identity of Mumbai for over 130 years, the Mumbai's dabbawalas are at a point where they are in dilemma about their future. This digital world has affected their pockets and now they are trying to find a solution to this problem. In Mumbai, with camera person Praveen Jirohit, Sohit Mishra, NDTV.
Now, the Federal Reserve raised its interest rates by a quarter of a percentage point on Wednesday. The Fed chair has also said that the economy still needed to slow and the labour market needs to weaken for inflation to credibly return to the US central banks. That's the 2% target, Parmeshwar, they're talking about.
Right, Divya, the hike though, the Fed's 11th in its last 12 meetings, set the benchmark overnight interest rate in the 5.25% to 5.50% range, a level last seen just prior to the 2007 housing market crash and which has not been consistently exceeded for about 22 years. Sakshi Bajaj reports.
Since early last year, the FOMC has significantly tightened the stance of monetary policy. Today, we took another step by raising our policy interest rate a quarter percentage point, and we are continuing to reduce our securities holdings at a brisk pace. We've covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our tightening have yet to be felt.
The US Federal Reserve has raised the benchmark rates by another 25 basis points and kept the door open for more, saying that a future rate hike will be data dependent. The Federal Open Market Committee raised the federal fund rates in the range of 5.25% to 5.5%. Now remember, this marks the 11th hike to come out of the Federal Reserve over the course of the last 12 policy meetings. This is just the level seen last, of course, prior to the 2007 housing market crash and has not been consistently exceeded for about 22 years. So the highest rate really in the last 22 years. The US Fed's decision on federal fund rates has a significant impact on emerging markets such as India. Now, Fed's move on interest rates strongly influence the foreign capital inflows in India, of course, including other emerging markets as well. When the Fed raises rates, foreign investors may pull out money and pull money away really from emerging markets due to the higher rates in the US, and this may further boost the dollar.
Well, let's take a quick look at the top stories from around the world. Well, the United States is concealing a long-standing program that retrieves and reverse engineers unidentified flying objects. A former Air Force intelligence officer testified to Congress. The Pentagon has denied his claims. Asked whether the US government had information about extraterrestrial life, retired Major David Grush said the US likely has been aware of non-human activity since the 1930s.
I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, to which I was denied access to those additional read-ons when I requested it. I made the decision, based on the data I collected, to report this information to my superiors and multiple inspectors general, and in effect becoming a whistleblower.
Meanwhile, presidential guards in Niger have seized President Mohamed Bazoum and blockaded his residence, as well as his key ministries, sources have informed us. The African Union, the UN, the European Union and the United States have all condemned their actions, but President Bazoum is a key Western ally in the fight against Islamist militancy in West Africa. National institutions, meanwhile, have been suspended and the country's land borders are temporarily closed. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced a major cabinet shake-up as he readies his team for the next federal election. Trudeau removed 7 ministers and changed 2/3 of the portfolios. Defence, Justice, Public Safety, Health, Heritage, Fisheries and Procurement are among the departments with new ministers. Only 7 ministers are keeping their portfolio, while several ministers are out after saying they wouldn't run in the next election, which must take place by October 2025, but it could be called well before then as well. Polls, meanwhile, indicate Trudeau's Liberal Party is trailing the rival Conservatives. Hollywood actor Kevin Spacey wept in court as he was cleared of all his charges in the sexual assault trial in London. Jurors at the Southern Crown Court returned not guilty verdicts for 9 sexual offences charges relating to 4 men between the year 2001 and 2013. Speaking afterwards, Kevin Spacey said he was grateful to the jury as he thanked them for their deliberations, which took more than 12 hours. Outside the court, the Oscar winner added he was humbled. Survivors of a pod of almost 100 whales that beached on the southwestern Australian coast were euthanized after a second day of frantic but unsuccessful efforts to rescue them. The pod of long-fin pilot whales stranded themselves on Tuesday, and the former whaling station of Albany in Western Australia state, south of the capital Perth, is where it was reported from. Despite the efforts of 100 wildlife officers and 250 volunteers wearing wetsuits to protect against the southern hemisphere winter cold, 52 stranded whales died on the beach.
Welcome back. Very heavy showers expected in Mumbai till this afternoon. A red alert warning has been sounded off, and which is why schools and colleges have been shut down in Mumbai today. Now, when we take into account the kind of rainfall that we're expecting, very heavy showers in the last 24 hours alone, over 90 millimeters of rainfall has been recorded. As far as areas of Colaba and Santa Cruz are concerned, it's rained more so in the Ram Mandir area of Mumbai. Very heavy showers seen in that area of Mumbai. Also, let's get you a sense of the situation in Telangana, where more than 30 stations have reported extremely heavy rain, and the incessant rain in Telangana has claimed 1 life. A woman was swept away while crossing a flooded area in Telangana. She is still missing. A video from the spot showed a group of women trying to cross the raging waters when the woman was dragged away by the strong current. Now, also very heavy showers are expected in the state. A red alert warning has been sounded off for Telangana. When we take into account the kind of rainfall that we're expecting could be in triple digits. Also, when we talk about Delhi, it's been the wettest July in the second wettest July in the month of July as far as the last 15 years are concerned. The last time we saw more than 500 millimeters of rainfall was in 2021. This time around, it's close to 370 millimeters, and we still have a few days to go with very heavy showers expected. To get more details on this, we have Mahesh Palawat of SkyMed joining us. We also have Ronak Sutaria, founder and Respirer Living Sciences Private Limited. Thank you so much for joining us today. My first question to Mahesh Palawat: when we talk about whether it's Himachal Pradesh, whether it's Uttarakhand, whether it's Delhi, the kind of rainfall that we're expecting over the next 2 to 3 days is quite alarming, especially in areas of Telangana and Mumbai.
Yes, because a well-marked low pressure area is over north coastal Andhra Pradesh and it is moving inland. That's why the rain activities have intensified over many parts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Impact will be more over Telangana, and gradually it will impact the north interior Karnataka as well. And Dharwad, Gadag, Koppal, all these areas may also receive heavy to very heavy rain, and Telangana may continue to get another, heavy to very heavy spell for another 24 hours. Thereafter, intensity will start reducing as the weather system will start losing its strength, and it will move in northwest direction towards Madhya Pradesh. And rain activities will intensify over eastern parts of the country like East UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, which are facing almost dry weather conditions since last many days. Yeah.
So till what time can we expect very heavy showers in Mumbai? Because the warning says it's going to be till this afternoon.
Yes, by today afternoon or evening, we expect moderate to heavy showers over many parts of Mumbai, including Palghar, Thane, Sindhudurg, Ratnagiri and Goa, as well as coastal areas of Karnataka. Coastal areas of Karnataka will receive heavy to very heavy showers because the full impact will be there from this well-marked low pressure area. And strong, you can say the winds from Arabian Sea are very strong and moisture field is very intact. And that's why the rain activities will continue until lately.
When we talk about a span of just 12 hours, it's rained 124 millimeters in Santa Cruz, more than that in Colaba. As far as Baikula area is concerned, 100 millimeters there and almost 140 millimeters in the Ram Mandir area. Mumbai registered its wettest July ever on Wednesday. As far as the record is concerned, it's crossed the 1,557 millimeters mark for the very first time. The previous record was set in 2020 when it rained more than 1,500 millimeters, and that record has been broken with more showers coming about. So we can expect the highest rainfall ever as far as Mumbai is concerned. Ronak, let me, take my next question to you. Let's talk about, how are the emissions playing a role as far as the heat wave situation is concerned on one side, and also that we're seeing across the world, and as far as flooding back home is concerned?
So Divya, definitely, as Mahesh said, the rainfall, the quantum is huge, what Mumbai has experienced and all. And, the direct link can be seen to the low pressure areas that he mentioned, low pressure conditions. But, in reality, the climate is playing out on a much larger scale. And, if you look at some of these conditions, what Europe is experiencing close to 50 degrees centigrade, which is unparalleled. And the report which is out 2 days ago has said that July actually has been the hottest July ever in the last 10,000 years. These are, while, news reports and isolated, we can look at them. But fundamentally, at the core, what we are putting in our air, what we are putting in our climate is actually coming out in an extreme conditions, be it rains, in our region, be it heat waves, which are going on in parallel. Frankly, I'll tell you, the food and water, when we see it adulterated, we get alarmed. We are not going to drink water which is colored. We are not going to eat food which looks dirty. But the air, what is happening is, there is so much CO2, there is so much methane going in. I'll just take a minute to explain, the methane emissions, which we've been tracking now for a year and a half. Methane as a emission source, is about 25 times, causes more warming in the climate than CO2. It stays for a shorter period for about 10 to 12 years. But the level of warming that it is causing is unprecedented. And frankly, there are hardly any conversations going on. I mean, there are pockets in the country where they're tracking methane emissions, CO2 emissions, but not enough is being done to control emissions at source. In winter, we talk about pollution. The haze takes over Delhi and air pollution becomes a topic. But be it PM 2.5, be it the global warming, they are very, very closely connected. And not enough is being done at all. In the West, we are seeing conversations of different emissions being had at the White House. Just yesterday, I was watching a methane emissions Senate hearing. And in India, I think these are very, very remote conversations. We don't have it right now in our mainstream. The results we are seeing, the floods that we are watching, frankly, the seas are rising, and water is not draining. So tomorrow, if you see your roads flooded, Delhi saw the flooding, Mumbai is watching the flooding in the last 2 days. The water is not draining out, and the seas are going to push the water back into our cities. If we don't understand this cycle, and if we continue to blame, definitely the low pressure conditions, probably unprecedented quantum, but these are linked in a cycle. And the scientists have been calling out that, we are at 1.2 degrees warming levels. At 1.5, things are irreversible.
Right, Ronak, is the government, as far as the policies are concerned of the government, are they doing enough to track and reduce the emissions which are at the heart of climate change?
There is, in pockets when it comes to, EV policies, there is some amounts, but the real tough ones, be it our power plant emissions, be it, methane emissions from other sources. Of course, the troubling one is agricultural also has a significant role to play. The cattle emissions are a tough ones for us to tackle. But, there are things happening globally. And if we don't get down in doing those activities, if we don't, put the finances behind where these things are needed, you are going to see more and more warming. You're going to see more 50 degrees of summers, and you're going to see more 1,500 mm of monsoons and, 1,000 micrograms of winter for PM 2.5.
Right,
I mean, these are going to be the norm.
Right. Let's get Mahesh back with us. Mahesh Palawat, the amount it rains, say, in weeks, it ends up raining in a day or two. Take us through this wet spell that we're seeing now. How much the kind of rainfall that we're expecting, because moderate rainfall here in Delhi as well. We saw that Noida was flooded up until yesterday. Are we, do we need to be warned as far as a flood situation, as far as the Delhi NCR region is concerned?
See, Divya, now the rain activities will be moderate and patchy in nature, because we do not expect that continuous downpour will be there over northwest India, particularly Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, West UP, and eastern parts of Rajasthan. But on and off range will continue for another 2 to 3 days, and thereafter intensity will go down, but weather will not go completely dry. And the rain activities will also intensify over Himachal and Uttarakhand for at least next 24 to 48 hours, leading to mudslide, landslide over those areas. And gradually the rain belt will shift towards eastern parts of the country, which are facing dry weather conditions this last many days. The low pressure area will also take recurve to northeast direction, leading to intense weather activities for at least next 1 week over from July 29 onward over eastern parts of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal and northeast India.
Right. Thank you so much, Mahesh Palawat and Ronak Susaria, for joining us on the broadcast today. I'm afraid we're totally out of time. With that, we're slipping into a very short break. But before that, let's leave you with the mouth-watering delights from Lucknow's world-famous Tunde Kebab.
टुंडे के कबाब भी जो हैं वो जाने लखनऊ हैं।
आप लोगों की दुआएं हैं, मोहब्बत है।
Tunde means something like out of the world.
The city of Lucknow has long been known for its meaty delights, especially the succulent kebabs. The iconic Tunde Kebabi has been an integral part of this culinary legacy and is loved by the locals, the tourists and the celebrities alike.
कि महका हुआ है हमसे गुलिस्तान लखनऊ, महका हुआ है हमसे गुलिस्तान लखनऊ, है जान हमारी लखनऊ, हम जाने लखनऊ। तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि टुंडे के कबाब भी जो हैं वो जाने लखनऊ हैं।
Tunde Kebabi has recently been ranked at number 12 on the Taste Atlas's list of the world's most legendary restaurants, with a recommendation to try the Galavati kebabs. Let's hear how the owner and some loyal patrons feel about this listing.
प्रेस में जब आया, मीडिया में आया कि 12वीं रैंक मिली है, तो मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई। मैं चाहता हूं कि अपने मुल्क के लिए, अपने लखनऊ के लिए कुछ करूं और अच्छा करूं।
I don't know, I took it very personally. I felt, it is an achievement definitely, and I took a lot of pride in it because I'm a very frequent customer. I visit here very frequently.
Tunde Kebabi is said to have been established by Haji Murad Ali in the 17th century.
देखिए, हमारे ग्रैंडफादर ने शुरू किया था, उनका एक हाथ नहीं था, एक हाथ से कबाब बनाते थे वो, इसी से टुंडे कबाबी नाम पड़ गया उनका।
It is said that the recipe is a closely guarded family secret. Let's find out what makes them so special.
मेरी जो रेसिपी चली आ रही दादा के जमाने से, वो वही चल रही रेसिपी। इसमें जो मसाले पड़ते हैं वो यूनानी टिप हैं, जो डाइजेशन को सही रखते हैं, बदहजमी नहीं होगी, साइड इफेक्ट नहीं होगा।
यहाँ के कबाबों की स्पेशलिटी ये है कि ये मुंह में रखते ही एकदम घुल जाते हैं। सबसे बड़ी बात जो इसकी है, लोगों का कहना है, मुझे नहीं मालूम ये कहाँ तक की हकीकत है इस बात में, कि जो इनके जो खानदान के जो लोग हैं वो आखिर में आके एक कटोरी टाइप की मसाला लाते हैं, पुड़िया, उसको डालते हैं, तो शायद उसी में कोई टेस्ट है, तो इसलिए इनके कबाब तो लाजवाब है और सारे खाने बहुत पसंद।
So I live in America, right? मैं वहाँ रहता हूँ, मैं अमेरिका में North Carolina में, so I only get the chance to come here maybe once every 3 years. The kebabs are amazing. I mean, जैसे कहते हैं, Galavati kebab, they're so melting in your mouth. They just completely dissolve when you eat them, and the flavor. मैं कहने वाला था कि हर निवाले में वो जो उस्मान साहब के जो पूरी फैमिली खानदानी जायका है, जो सदियों से चले आ रहा है. It's really amazing.
The legacy of Tunde Kebabi continues, with the third generation of the family now opening newer branches with varied menus. But it is still the original Tunde Galavati kebab that remains a favorite of the loyal patrons.
और बहुत सारे लोगों ने कोशिश करी कि तमाम इस तरह के कॉपी भी करें या दूसरे ब्रांड्स के नाम से भी है, लेकिन कोई टुंडे के कबाब तक आज तक पहुंच नहीं पाया। और इसी की वजह है कि यहाँ पे खाली लखनऊ नहीं, हिंदुस्तान और दूसरे मुल्कों के भी लोग जो है वो यहाँ पे आते हैं।
I would also like to congratulate to them. I think it's a personal victory for all of us, for all the Tunde fans, that it's in the 12th rank. So that's amazing.